Welcome back to Bust Picks, episode 11.
Episode 11, yeah.
The big one. You know, we're preteens now. You know, we're getting a little feisty.
Okay.
Welcome back, guys. Off the top, my name is Dio Reynoso. I'm here with my co-host
Don Behan, how are we?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
0-6.
It was rough.
0-6.
Yeah, 0-6 in college.
We'll just get the monkey out the back. I'm sorry. I don't. The pick six is supposed to be our best bets.
Yes.
Stuff that we're like, if we're only gambling 6 bets, here are our 6 favorite.
Yeah.
I missed every single one. And it wasn't even like, I could have been there. I was close there.
No, it was rough.
It was disastrous across the board.
I mean, some of it was due to injury. Like, no one expected Kenny Pickett to go down.
That wasn't in my pick six. My pick six
No, that was for our parlay. Yeah.
The parlay is the parlay. You know.
Yeah, that was a risk anyway.
So here's what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
I deserve to be punished a little. So here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to put out a poll.
All right.
And allow anyone to give me one chicken. One chicken is this. First person to reply or comment. Anytime you tell me to do a chicken on an episode, I have to stand up and do the chicken dance for at least 30 seconds.
Does it have to be during an episode?
Has to be during an episode or anytime you see me in public.
Okay,
Yep.
fair enough.
Sounds good?
Well, I was going to say, like, in that case, if they know you're somewhere, could they DM you if they're out of state?
100%. You have one DM, and I will record myself doing a chicken dance at any point.
Love it.
Awesome. Don, give me a fact of the day.
So our fact of the day, something that gave me a little hope that we might be able to, make it pro in something. The idea of, like, you see the Olympics, they're bringing flag football this year because they're holding it.
I love it.
Well, not this year, but they're holding the next one in North America, flag football. Not the first time they've had a weird sport like this. So from 1900 to 1920, an official sport that you could get a medal in was team tug of war.
That's so cool. That's
so cool. So it's considered part of the track and field. So you couldn't bring, like, your lifters to go do it. As part of the track and field team would do it. And, like, the easiest footage we could find right now is, like, Great Britain versus Sweden. There's actually black and white footage of these guys, like, actual Olympic champions in tug of war.
Could you imagine, like, the island of Samoa versus, like, the U.S.? Like, that would be insane.
That would be such a battle.
England, Australia, tug of wars. Just everyone on HGH, like, testosterone coming out of their ears. And I want, like, a women's division, too, where they're all, like, ripping it out of each other. People are getting rashes right underneath their armpits.
I want to see
There's
the shot putters and the javelin throwers and the discus throwers.
I want it to be its own sport.
Like, I want them to, like, all have to go double duty.
I love it. I want one guy on the end to be tied down like an anchor, and he's got to, like, walk back like he's pulling a semi truck. You know,
you're making a strongman competition. I love the idea.
Make it happen, Olympics.
So in Britain, there's an actual organization who, like, records the history of this. It's called the Tug of War Association, an actual British organization who chronicles the history of tug of war in the Olympics.
The Tug of War Association. Terrible name.
Terrible
gotta
name.
come up with something snappier. I have a great question of the day, Don.
Yes.
Injuries run rampant around sports.
Okay, yeah, that's typical.
Shohei Ohtani is currently a free agent.
Yes.
Tommy John injury.
Yeah, he's still going to be able to bat, but can't pitch all of next season. Yeah, basically.
Would you give up your arm tendon if that meant you could get your player back? Let's just say Lamar Jackson tears his ACL, and they come to you and they say, hey, we can get Lamar up and going if we take your Achilles or we take your ACL joint. He'll play in 1 week.
Do I get his damaged one?
Nope. You get a, like, shitty one.
I'll take a shitty one. That's fine.
But you get your boy back up there.
Yeah,
faster.
like if it means, well, okay, it's a different perspective right now for me because we're making playoff pushes coming up pretty soon in the NFL. So if he went down and we need him for a playoff run, yes, 100%.
So I guess the question of the day is, would you take your favorite players' injuries onto your personal body so that way they didn't have to feel them?
I think most fans would say yes.
100%. Yes.
Yeah, I think most fans would say yes there.
LeBron gets a groin injury. They call me up and they're like, you can take all this pain I'll take it. I'll take it all.
Yeah, he'll play through it. He'll be fine to run.
If you told me Andrew Luck would still be your quarterback, Dio, but you had to endure every injury he got, sign me up.
Wow.
Sign me up. We have a Super Bowl. That's a fact. That's a fact. We'd have a Super Bowl by now. Yeah.
He would still be an amazing quarterback. His career, man. I feel so bad. Yeah, we'll get off the topic if you
so
want.
So sad. I do want to get on to another topic. It's going to be our first segment of the day.
Yes.
It is time for the report cards of college football. We went through 7 of, I would say, marquee teams of college football, and we went through and we broke down how we feel they did. We gave them a letter grade. We're going to talk about how we feel, and there's no hotter button topic than Florida State.
Oh, we're starting here. Okay.
We're starting at Florida State.
All right.
Don, grade Florida State season.
It's an A. There's no other.
Just an A.
No, it's an A for them. Like, it's A+ would have been making playoffs, which I think that they were robbed completely. They should have been in there.
So
that's what this is gonna boil down to. But like, undefeated season, you guys end up as the 6th seed. Like, you played a great year.
So we can start here.
Yes.
Do you think Florida State should have made the college football playoffs?
100%.
Over who? Texas or Alabama? Make the pick.
I'll say over Alabama.
Okay. So you think it should have been Florida State, Texas, Michigan, and Washington?
Yes.
Why?
Okay. Well, I think the big thing, the big division for me there, ACC outplayed the SEC this year.
Everyone played outplayed the SEC.
Yes. So
SEC's never been on a downer year in the playoffs than this year.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But no, the ACC categorically, they went 6-4 against the ACC.
It's awesome.
With two of those 4 wins that the SEC got were against Georgia Tech. Like, not big wins.
Not a huge win.
Not a big win.
But
at all.
What were the wins that the
LSU
SEC
lost.
LSU
got
Kentucky.
beat. Kentucky got beat.
Florida. That's
Yeah.
it. Those are the 3 teams. But they didn't beat Bama.
LSU
They didn't beat Georgia.
No, but you have Florida State hold LSU's number 1 offense to their worst performance of the season. Only team
It was the first game of the year.
worst performance of their season, kept their QB under 70% completion rate, and held them to less yards than Georgia was able to.
Okay. Noted. That's fair.
Yeah, so if we're going head
But
to
in
head right
terms
there.
of full season strength of schedule, Florida State ranked 55th. Alabama ranked 5th.
That's
They
true.
played Missouri. They beat them. They played Mississippi State. They beat them. They played Auburn. They beat them. Those are all good teams. They beat also LSU. They beat number 1 team in the country, Georgia. That has to mean something also.
No, it does. But to me, if you're trying to go by objective, what they say is it's about record and it's about putting the best teams in.
Yeah.
Florida State is still undefeated. You have to take that into account. They
Correct.
won their conference with a 3rd-string quarterback. They're getting their true backup back, who has never lost a start ever. Tate Rodemaker has never lost any game he has started the game in college history.
That's a fact. Here's where it's going to come down to.
Yes.
I think Alabama is a better team.
I think they put Alabama in for
SEC and marketing.
SEC, well, and exactly, marketing more than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
I think more people will go, oh, it's a team that is nationally recognized a lot more
100%.
than Florida State, and that's why they put them in. And that. I think that is the only reason, which shows so much bias by this committee.
You're
again.
telling me Michigan is playing Florida State with a 3rd string or even a backup quarterback because their starting quarterback, Jordan Travis, is out.
Yes.
He's gone. And he's going to go to the NFL next year. Congrats. Good luck to you there. They play Michigan. That's pretty much a bye week. It's a free week. And then all of a sudden you're looking at Washington playing Texas. They don't get as much time as Michigan. It's almost like a free Michigan national championship. Now Michigan.
But you're literally thinking, though, that Michigan's just going to run through Florida State like that?
Yeah, because Florida State is not good. The only good team they have beaten was LSU in the first game on a neutral field.
No, I thought they've had a decent schedule. It wasn't
Clemson, Florida, I guess, is an okay win, but that's a 6-win team. Alabama had a way stronger schedule. Every other team, Washington, Michigan. Michigan really only played 1 game, but that was the 1 game. That was the 1 game.
That was one game. But if we're going by strength of schedule, Michigan's had an easier schedule.
I'm not saying it's not fair to Florida State. There's literally nothing more they could have done. But their quarterback did go down. And at the end of the day...
So you're basing an entire team's decision to make playoffs is on one player's injury.
Don,
Is that what it's based on?
Yes.
Is one guy's injury
The best
decides
product on the
whether or
field.
not every single player on that team does not deserve what they've earned
So-
and what they've gone and won.
Here's what I'm willing to say, and I think the NCAA was like, we're willing to bet this. If you beat Georgia, you can call yourself a national champion. And I feel like the NCAA is like, do it. We don't care.
No, but of course they don't care because that's happened so many times with other teams in the past.
But they're
and it
not
means nothing.
They're not going to beat Georgia. It means something. There's many up until like 2003. Multiple teams were winning national championships every year.
Yeah, but then we started getting more serious about bowl games and about pushing the playoffs later
Here's
on.
the best part about college athletics. It doesn't mean anything. Anyone can claim. UCF hangs
but
a
in a-
banner
but in a
that
time of-
says national champions.
But in a time of NIL deals, this means a lot for those players. This is public recognition on a national
Yeah.
level that could go make these kids money.
Now here's the other thing.
No, at this point,
Yeah.
you're taking money away from those kids.
Well, you're not, because here's a little thing that you didn't know about. 120 million. That's the number. $120 million is all Florida State needs to do in order to leave the ACC. Guess who the ACC was flirting with leaving this year? Or the Florida State was flirting with leaving the ACC, but they didn't have the money. Well, look who has the money. SEC. SEC's trying to get Florida State to come over there with Clemson. There is a huge deal that's about to happen this offseason.
Sure.
Clemson and Florida State are going to the SEC because they realize the ACC is the weakest Power 5 conference. Everyone knows this. There's a reason why Florida State isn't making a bigger mess about this. Here's the other
Oh
thing.
no, the provost of Florida State has literally
They want to go to court with it. Yeah.
yeah, they're taking the NCAA to court.
They're not going to win.
No, they're not going to win, obviously.
And
but
here's why.
But if they're not but they're making a big deal about it right there. If
you're
you're
right,
taking
yeah.
someone to national level court, you're making an issue.
They're making it an issue.
Yeah.
They're going to get out
If
of
you
the
have
ACC.
the
though.
governor of Florida literally putting money aside to go sue the NCAA right now.
Yeah, they're doing crazy stuff over there in Florida, though.
No, I'm not
Shout
agreeing
out to
with
the
that,
new GTA
but-
6.
I'm just saying, there's no way that they're not making a bigger deal out of this. Like, I don't know what else they could do.
So-
They literally told their fans, boycott our bowl game.
No, you're right. No,
They-
you know why they're doing that, though, right? They're doing that because they know they're gonna get dog stomped by Georgia. They're about to get power bottom dropped by Florida or by Georgia.
You think that they're going to give up money like that? Because they get a percentage of the merchandise deals.
Yeah.
They get a percentage of the ticket sales.
Yeah.
They get, and you know that if there's not going to be any fans there,
Yeah.
they're not going to show it as much on TV. It's not going to be as televised. It's not going to be pushed.
People are
You're not going to have the top commentators.
Every college football fan is going to be watching that Florida State game.
But you're talking diehard. I'm talking casual viewers.
Casual viewers don't care about any non-playoff game, and that's what you're saying. And
I'm saying they make up a large portion. They are
For sure.
giving up a lot of money if people don't show up to
sure.
that game.
For
You
sure.
think that a school is
People are
going to
showing
give up money like that?
they're not. People are showing up to that game. That stadium is going to be packed because if Florida State wins that game, they can literally claim a national. They can literally be like, "We should have been in there. We beat Georgia, who was the number one team up until the last week."
Yeah.
But here's the thing. No Florida State wants to look me in the eyes and be like, we are actually going to beat Georgia. They're not. They're just not. And if you're Florida State, now let's be honest. Don't you kind of want to be in this position? Like, you kind of are like,
In the media shitstorm?
nah, you kind of are like, we can kind of claim a national championship without ever, like, having to get dog stomped against Michigan. Like, what would happen if they just went into the college football playoff?
The way you're framing this right now is they're either going to get beat up by Michigan or they're going to get beat up by Georgia.
And they're going to get beat up either way.
So I'd rather get them, if I were the school, I'd rather get beat up on the playoffs and say you made it. If those
Would
are the
you?
two, if those are the two, yes.
And then leave out a team that's
Would you
legit better?
with this season
Yeah.
as the Colts?
Yeah.
Would you rather lose in the wild card or the divisional?
I'd
round?
rather not make playoffs right now because I don't have my starting quarterback. And that's the truth. You didn't see that one coming, did
No,
you?
because you're applying for the draft. I'm saying
Yeah.
if your two options were divisional or wild card, where would you like to lose?
Wild card, better draft spot.
But these schools don't get a draft spot.
They get better media TV. I get what you're saying on that. Yeah, I understand what
Like
you're
if,
saying.
if you're framing, those are the only
That's
two
their
options
equivalent.
for them.
Yeah.
That's what it has to go to.
New York 6, they still get a New York 6 bowl. They still are going to play against Georgia. Georgia fans are showing up to that game. Florida State fans, alumni, are still going to be watching this game, even though they do feel robbed. And they should. If a team... if your team went undefeated, there's literally nothing more you could have done to get into the playoffs. I understand that. If you still think college football is a fair game, I
it's
need
never
to.
been fair.
Not just you. I'm talking to like the people. If you think this college football game is a fair game, I need to pull you over to the side and have an adult conversation with you. It's not. It's a marketing ploy. It is not a fair game. It has never been a fair game.
The fact that it took until this long to get them like college athletes paid shows that it's not a fair game.
It's if you were ever like, Cincinnati got in, that was like a charity case. They're not ever going to do that again if it stayed in a 14 playoff. This is what they want. They want 4 major brands, Texas, Bama. They got the West Coast with Washington. We're not even part of Washington. I'm rooting my ass off for them.
I mean, it's the last year of the Pac-12.
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
Like, you feel obligated to in that case.
And then Michigan, that's Michigan. They're one of the biggest organizations in all of sports, period. That's what they want. Now, next year, we don't have to have this conversation anymore. It's a 12-team playoff next year.
Yeah. It's harder to argue in my mind a 12, 13, 14 seeding versus a 4, 5, 6.
I hear you. Look, A-. I think they did fantastic. There's nothing more they could have done. It just sucks to say. If Jordan Travis was there, I think they should have been the number 1 seed, and I genuinely believe that. And because Jordan Travis isn't there, I don't even think they're a top 10 team.
Really?
I genuinely, I don't think they could beat Missouri. I really don't. I've seen that team the past 2 weeks. They barely beat Louisville.
Well, you can't take last week. Last week was their third string.
Okay,
Remember,
then I'll take the week before that when they played Florida, and they barely beat Florida. They beat them by 10 points or something like that. And Florida's bad. Graham Mertz is bad. That's a bad organization. Let's move on to the next team. Georgia. Georgia also didn't make the playoffs. Do you think there's any world where Georgia even could have made it?
I honestly, I haven't checked the strength of schedule comparing them to Bama, but considering they blew Bama, I think in the first game they
didn't play Bama this year.
No, they didn't play Bama, but they lost by a field goal. It was hard there.
They came back because Bama was up like 10 points, and then Georgia scored really, really quickly, and then it's a whole thing. Georgia did not play like they play in the SEC East, which is the Tennessees and the Tennessees, the Floridas, those teams over there. Mm-hmm. It's very well known that that's the weaker SEC. Georgia ran through it, as they do.
That's normal.
And that's how they finally got to play a legit team because they, dodged all the other good teams, and they got smashed.
How does the field goal getting smashed?
They really lost by 10. They got a last-second touchdown.
Yeah, teams do, and then they try to go back and get the
if you watch that game, Alabama was in control the entire time. You don't feel like Alabama was in control the entire time?
I feel that there were certain points in that game it could have gone either way.
What's your ideal playoff that would have happened?
I honestly just switch out Alabama for Florida, and that would have been fine.
So you don't think Georgia...
I don't think Alabama should have got in at all. Georgia or Florida, in my mind, should have gotten in before Alabama
Florida
got
State.
in.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Florida State, my apologies.
You think Georgia, even though they lost to Bama... Is any of this bias on Bama?
No, because if Bama went undefeated...
They lost one game to a team that's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's the best loss in the country.
But no, it's the best loss, but it's still a loss. That's my argument for Florida. And my mind for Georgia is just, hey, they have the same record.
Yeah.
They lost to a team that's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
By that negotiation, which one is better? A team that lost to the playoffs or a team that lost with the team in the playoffs? I would give it to the back-to-back champs. Go beat the champs if you want the chip. Go for the best team. If you could beat the back-to-back champs, that's where you get it. I don't think Bama deserved it this year.
Sound logic. USC. I gave them a C-.
D.
Okay.
This is a wasted season.
It was a wasted season. You wasted a generational quarterback because, I don't know, Lincoln Riley got too nice. Like, he got too used to the beaches. And he's like, I don't have to win at USC. And he was kind of right because, USC fans, as mad as they are, they're not calling for Lincoln Riley's head.
They fired the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, Alex Grinch, but you got someone's head had to roll. But, in terms of...
Well, the defense did improve slightly statistically when he left.
Which is cool, but, everyone knows what the real problems are at USC. USC needs to stay in California and recruit all the LA County, Southern California boys and get them into the school. They need to make it great. I think this season really hurt recruiting. Lucky for me, Lincoln Riley's amazing at just taking whatever quarterbacks on the transfer portal and making him a Heisman Trophy winner. So
you don't think he's coming back this year for one more? Because that has been the conversation.
So I think it depends on who is number one in the NFL draft. I think it's very clear he does not want to be a Chicago Bear.
Yeah.
I think it's very clear he doesn't want to be an Arizona Cardinal. I think there's certain teams he really wants to. Yeah, I think he wants to go to an organization that has shown some sort of stability. And I think there's an organization there that if they end up with the number one pick, I will probably cry. And that's New England Patriots.
If he goes to New England, that's just going to overhaul that team completely right there.
I think it changes the entire organization from a standpoint. I think we're talking about Bill Belichick staying there for another 10 years. I think Caleb Williams in New England would make all these people, which is me included, that are just loving this terrible New England Patriots, like legit Iowa-esque football team that they've become, and immediately make them like playoff contenders, and we would all be back in hell. It'd be awful. I would be so angry. But if you're Caleb Williams, isn't it like the best? Like,
no, that would be the best scenario
Yeah.
for him because you're coming into a team with a winning culture, a head coach who's going to develop you right, and already pretty solid defense. It's not great, but it's there. The only thing you're really missing is weapons. And they have some guys who can go play ball. It's just none of them are
you can get
elite.
weapons.
You could go get
weapons.
receivers.
You can get weapons. Clemson 8-4. Clemson. Some people would say this is a good Clemson team. I think those people are crazy.
I give them a C-.
I also gave them a C-. Look,
yeah, it didn't feel good. Like, okay, on paper, 8-4, not a terrible year, but 4-4 in the conference, that scares me a little bit.
If Clemson was a stock, are you buying it?
I think so. I think I would buy right now because this, out of everything I'm seeing, statement wise and everything, this season has been the wake up for Dabo there.
Good old
to
Dabo.
Go after the transfer portal harder.
Yeah,
because that was the big thing this year. So he didn't want to touch it. He didn't believe in it.
Yeah, he's a man of God, and he doesn't believe in that sort of thing. And you know what? He did go into the transfer portal, and he went straight to a Division II Catholic school and got a long snapper. Shout out to that guy. Transfer portal is going to be crazy for you, bro. I think Clemson is done. I think
they're toasted?
I think Dabo might be leaving in the next few years. I think he smells the writing on the wall. As cool as it is to coach at Clemson's not that program. It does not
they have
hold.
7 of the last 8 ACC championships.
Yeah, because the ACC's garbage.
The ACC is not the strongest. I will give you that.
bad.
But to have that kind of dominant performance for that long,
No, I mean, no, it's
if
great.
he has 2-3 down years, I think it could be forgiven.
I think he's
overall.
got 2 natties, 1 or 2 natties.
Yeah.
He's won a lot. He's won a lot with
He's a
Deshaun Watson.
he's a
and
very winning coach.
Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, it's just like he's also a crazy person, but
No,
you gotta
he
be
is.
a little
No, he
crazy
is
to
a
be a
little-
college football head coach.
That's true.
Let's go to Ohio State. Don, 1 loss to the number 1 team in the country. Their number 1 rivals.
I think on paper this is a B report card based on where you ended up.
I don't care about paper.
Realistically,
You're the
it's-
teacher. You get to grade this child.
This is straight C. Like
Oh.
there was expectations higher. You did the bare minimum. You did the bare minimum of work in my mind.
This is an F. This is a kid turning in his assignment like 4 days late. This is a kid who's constantly disappointing me when I need him to show up to class every single time, and I'm sick of it.
Are you just hurt because you bet on them? This sounds more like hurt.
Maybe. Probably. F. Ohio State gets an F this year, and I really wanted them to be a national championship contender this year. But they're not, and they never will be under Ryan Day. I've accepted that. It's never going to happen.
No.
So, F this year and probably F for next year. A lot of Fs in Ohio State. They're going to make me a Michigan fan, and I really don't want to be a Michigan fan. Next team we're going to talk about, the hottest team in college football this year in September. Colorado. Sports Illustrated Man of the Year, Deion Sanders, head coach.
Yeah, I
How
see
does
that.
his first year go, Don? Give him a
I give
letter
it a
grade.
B. Like they met around what their expectations were.
Vegas line was at 3 wins this year. They got 4.
They got 4. So, yeah, around where expectations were. I'm giving their this new head coach, basically new core of a roster. I wasn't expecting them to blow teams out of the water. I wasn't expecting them to go on a tear for the Natty.
They had a completely new team.
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
Like, the fact that you guys were able to come in, overhaul, get some strong wins, and get 4 of them.
Yeah.
And it's only going to improve after what you've seen, like with certain players already committing, certain players already coming out of Jackson State to the transfer portal to want to come to Colorado. Like, he's going to have this cult following around him that people are going to want to go play for Dion. This is the worst I think we'll see this team for the next 10 years.
You might be right. Dion is out of his mind. I love Dion. He's one of my favorite players of all time. He's one of my favorite personalities of all time. I will never besmirch him. I'm giving him a B. 4 wins is not the expectations he was setting. He showed up to Colorado with his Louis bags. That's what he said.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
His son showed flashes of being a legit NFL quarterback. I think he's taken a couple steps back from what we initially saw him play. Of course, the competition wasn't there. He played a bad Nebraska team. He played a bad TCU team. He beat a bad Colorado State team. He beat a bad Arizona State team. Those are the 4 wins. He did not beat any good teams. He's going to a harder conference next year, I think, in the Big 12. A conference that it carries a little bit more grit than the Pac-12.
It does.
Pac-12, I think, it has better teams year in and year out, or did. But what the Big 12 does is it carries vitriol. Like, they don't like each other.
No, they hit a little harder. The rivalries are a little bit more intense in the Pac-12.
The blood's a little thicker.
It is.
Yeah.
So, and I think, if anything, this is a make or break.
Yeah.
Because there's certain players who rise to the occasion in those. But this is the step up that they need, is this level of challenge.
Last team we're going to talk about real fast is Iowa. Iowa football, the worst thing in sports, really is.
I'm giving them an A. This was an insane season.
Dude.
This is how do they end up 20th ranked?
Don,
Like
A2.
Dude, this was such a good year for them.
They made their head coach sign a contract before the season that he had to average 24 points a game, and he didn't even come close to that number.
No.
He didn't even attempt to try to get a
Not
better
at all.
offense. Their most electric, dynamic player on the team is a punt returner, and he's white. It's crazy. You know what's insane? You go look at some of the best tight ends in the NFL. Mm-hmm. They're all from Iowa. George Kittle, Sam Laporta. These guys are
Tight end you.
Tight end you. They might have like 6 catches in their tight end room combined. It's so it's
But all
crazy.
of them are hard-nosed guys. Like, that's what you need as that tight end.
Defense. They build that. It is going to be sad because since the Big Ten is like changing next year, and USC, Washington, and Oregon are coming, we're not going to see these like really fun, just like terrible slogfests of these Nebraskas and the Iowas and the Wisconsins. Those organizations, I don't think they're dead, but like they're definitely more in the Indiana, Purdue, Rutgers lane than they are in the Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan lane.
That's true.
So
That's true.
Buckle up, Iowa. Enjoy this season because it might be your last A+ for a very long time.
Yeah, honestly, I think that if they just got one more win at some point this season, there would have been a strong, like, hey, they need to be in like the New York Six Bowls, like just to get them on.
Could you imagine?
Because think about it, only 3 losses and made a conference championship.
My favorite thing in the world would have been Iowa just eking out 1 win. Maybe not in the Michigan game. They were never going to win that Big
No,
Ten
they
championship.
had no chance there.
But them versus Florida State, I could. Oh, that would have been crazy. The over-under would have been like 20. It would have been awesome. Oh, man.
That would have been, I think, just them versus any. Their defense could go toe-to-toe, I think, with almost any team in the country. Michigan proved them wrong there.
Yeah, well, Michigan was struggling too. But.
Yeah, no, they did not look good.
All right, let's move on to Bust of the Week. We're going to move on to Bust of the Week, talk about the guy who busted the hardest. I'm going to start with bad football. Bad football across the board is my pick.
Okay.
More specifically, the New York Jets.
Okay, so we're on the same page here. All right, great. Okay.
It's great. We got to kill time here.
Yes.
You want to talk about the New York Jets?
Oh, mine's on Robert Saleh specifically.
All right, cool. I'm talking about the whole organization.
Okay.
But you go.
No, so Saleh makes no sense as a person. You stick like this is my second time I think we've brought him up in the last 5 weeks.
The musical chairs of quarterbacks is the best thing I've ever seen.
But it's so infuriating that you stuck to your guy. Mm-hmm. You're almost statistically out of playoffs at this point. Only 4 wins.
Yeah, you got to start rattling some off.
Your decision is to bring in Boyle.
Tim Boyle, worst quarterback I've ever seen.
You get him to play 1 game.
Bad game.
You pull him out halfway through for Trevor Siemian.
I was stand corrected. Tim Boyle, not as bad as Trevor Siemian.
And then you fire Tim Boyle the next day, only to have your text messages that you were texting a friend, have them leaked about how you don't like the quarterback you then named starter. Like, what are you doing as a coach? You had so many opportunities to get ahead of the situation that you're in, but you were stubborn, and now you're flailing.
But don't worry. Now they have a really good backup coming off the bench. Zach Wilson, I don't know if you heard about him. He actually used to be a number 2 overall pick. I think he can actually lead this team to, like, a couple victories.
I love the idea that Zach Wilson is... they caught him on this. He didn't want to go in. He didn't want to play. He did not want to start again for this team.
Don, can I read you a fact?
Yes.
All 4 of the Jets' wins this year have come from Zach Wilson being the quarterback. And that's just a 100% fact. I know. I was looking at all the games. Like, yeah, every win.
I hate you so much.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, actually, if you want to get it, Aaron Rodgers got the start week 1.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I was
let's go
avidly wrong. Gold star of the week, Donnie. Go with your gold star.
My gold star is Jordan Love.
Love.
No, you're the second player in NFL history to, when going against Mahomes, beat him in every major quarterback statistical category.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he was.
I don't want him to be good.
No, for QBR, he was the 5th overall. Like, while Mahomes was in the deep 20s, I think he ended up 28th overall. Like this last week, I think. Great job for the kid there. Tied at 2nd for the week in overall touchdowns. Honestly, Green Bay's starting to make me nervous. And I don't like that. I thought this team was finally like dead for a few years. We wouldn't have to worry about it after Rodgers left. And they're not. Like, the receivers stepping up and
dead.
this
They're dead. Just sit tight. They're gonna be dead.
I don't know.
They're gonna be dead. They have to be dead. They have to be dead.
See, this is what he's doing to fans. This is what he's doing.
I can't.
You gotta at least you gotta recognize like he's playing well.
Yeah, he's playing good. And right when I dropped Christian Watson, Don, I don't know what you want me to tell you. The Pac-12 gets my gold star of the week. Gold star of the week goes to the Pac-12. It's more of an in memoriam. You guys gave me one last Friday night, no one's watching, amazing football game. Pac-12 after dark will be remembered fondly for me. I've grown up in the West Coast. The Pac is all I've ever known. The Pac-10, the Pac-12. I love this conference.
It's sad to see it go. It really is.
Like what the Big Ten is to people on the East Coast, what the SEC is to people on the South. I know people don't see the West Coast like loving the Pac-12. There are diehards. I'm one of them. I root for every single one of these organizations to find success. Washington, I hope you guys win a national championship. But lastly, thank you so much, Pac-12, for giving me fantastic memories that I'm going to cherish forever. That I love the Pac-12, and I always will. So
a screwed up part of my mind there is like really hoping the Mountain West just turns into the Pac-12
to
keep it afloat.
The thing is, I kind of love the Mountain West for being the little kooky little like.
It's such a weird.
Like
conference.
we're not as good as the Sun. We're better than the Sun Belt, but we're not better than anything else. You know, like I love them. Let's move on to the gambling ring, and we're gonna go through the gambling ring a little bit faster because we have another long segment that we got to go through.
Yes.
So we're gonna go through the gambling ring. Patriots versus Steelers. Thursday Night Football, the most unwatchable football game of the year.
No, you have Mitch Trubisky coming out to start for the Steelers. You have Bailey Zappi making not officially because it hasn't been officially announced, but he's going to make the start for the Patriots realistically. But Ramondre Stevenson has already been ruled out for this game. Zeke is going to be the starter there. Everyone's saying stay away from Pat Fryermuth. He's going to be on a downturn versus this
Don,
tough Patriots defense.
What are we betting on this game?
I'm taking over. I'm taking the over because it's
30?
over 30. Over 30. This is going to be such a gross game, but you have explosive talent on both sides here and there. I think there's just going to be some random chaos.
I will bet the over with you, but that's not the bet I'm giving out to the people.
Okay.
I'm giving you the most unorthodox bet we've ever done on this show.
All right.
I'm giving you first drive from both teams to be a punt.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I
It's
can see
plus 150.
that. I mean, because statistically that normally doesn't happen.
2 punts. That's all we're dead or alive real fast. 2 punts in a game that no one wants any business watching. Go turn on the NBA tournament.
I'm going to watch this game. I'm going to be a sicko.
Yeah,
I want to see
know.
good defense.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna be licking your chops, just like, let's go Patriots, and it's gonna suck.
I don't know if I'm not cheering for either of these teams realistically.
I want them to both. A tie? Should we bet the tie?
I don't think this game's going to end in a tie.
We should bet a tie. There's statistically been one every year since 2011. Why not this game? Thursday night has done a thing that we didn't expect it to do. It's one-upped its own self every week to be worse and worse and worse. Last week, we got a little surprise with hey, I hope you're still alive, Seahawks, Cowboys. That was a good game,
That was
right?
a great game.
Great game.
That was a great game.
They gave us a great game just to go back to and now you got to watch the Steelers play the Patriots. Have fun.
I'll put a half unit on a tie. I'm
like
not
it.
against
I
that.
like
This is going to be a gross game, but I'm expecting some fluky stuff.
Rams, Ravens. The Rams trying to get into the playoffs.
Puka is going to play. He got a full practice in today, but AC sprain
A
still.
little banged up. I think Puka's amazing.
No, he's tough. He's tough as nails.
Ravens off a bye week, though. What are we doing?
No, I'm taking the under 44.5 in this game. I don't think the Rams score more than a touchdown at all.
I disagree. That offense can score.
The offense can score. We have Puka, who's already pretty banged up with an AC sprain.
Yeah.
You have Cooper Kupp, who has a total, let me see here, total of 68 yards in the last 3 games combined.
Yeah, it's
he's
not been
fallen
good.
off the mountain completely.
I think he's a little hurt.
It's all going to be on Kyren. The Ravens defense, second fewest yards this season.
Yeah.
Fewest TDs this season with 16.
Yeah. They're great defense. Number 1 in sacks. The Ravens are fantastic.
They are, but they haven't scored over 38. So if it's 38-7, that's going to be a half point over. I don't think they're going to do what they did with the Lions. So I'm favoring the under. That's me betting that the Rams don't score more than a touchdown.
I think this game's ugly. The Rams do have a better defense than people want to talk about. I think
No, they do.
I
They
think this
do.
is more of a 20-17 type game.
That's still the under.
And I like the Rams plus 7.5 right now.
Yeah, that is a big line there.
Yeah. Seahawks versus the 49ers. This is a good game. I think Geno's going to be a little bit more healthier. He's had a few days to rest.
Yeah, his elbow is looking a lot improved.
I don't want to take the spread because it's 10.5 right now. Give me the over at 46.5. This 49er team is rolling.
No, I see the 49ers are white hot right now. They just punked the Eagles the other week.
Smash them.
I'm taking Deebo Samuel over 47.5 receiving yards.
I like it.
He hits this pretty consistently, 7 out of the 10 games.
I don't know, though. Last week was the Debo game.
It was the Deebo game.
There's no way that they go back-to-back Debo games.
No, but he just needs 3 checkdowns and he could cover 50 yards.
That's true.
That's not going to be too much of an issue. Seattle, like we talked about last week, just terrible against the passing game.
Is Deebo Samuel the most running back receiver you've ever seen? He's supposed to be a running back. Every time you see him with the ball, you're like, that's a running back. But he's a receiver.
I think so.
And is Christian McCaffrey the most receiver running back you've ever seen?
No, because McCaffrey will put his shoulder down and run through a guy.
Yeah.
McCaffrey wants to be a tight end secretly. He just wishes he was tall enough to be a tight end. That's what that is in my
He wants to be
mind.
George Kittle.
The
so
only
bad.
other receiver I could compare to Debo, you should have been running back, was Wes Welker. Because it's just this guys who you want me to go run through that wall? I'll do it again.
Anquan Bolden was kind of one of those guys. Steve Smith was a running back that was a receiver. That guy would smash people.
I don't even think he was running. He should have been a corner.
Yeah,
just the trash talk he was able to
Smith,
do.
dog.
Love him.
You got anything else for this one?
No, I'm taking Debo there. The 10.5 is too big of a spread. I don't like it.
Gotcha.
Considering how the lines have been moving this season.
Bills, Chiefs. Bills coming off a bye week. Chiefs coming off a huge loss.
Yes. Big upset.
I think they're going to go back-to-back losses in this era of the Patrick Mahomes era. Chiefs time. They don't like to lose back-to-back. I kind of like the Bills, and I know I keep falling into the Bills are going to get better. Bills are going to get better trap.
Are they?
Bills are going to get better. Give me Bills money line. Give me the Bills money line. It's plus 110. I do believe they can win this game. I think they're healthier too.
They can win this game. The defense is still depleted a little bit.
Yeah.
Chiefs have only really succeeded
Great
this
defense.
season because of their defense, I feel.
They need to get Patty some weapons.
I'm taking Gabe Davis under 40.5 yards. It's either he has all the yards or nothing.
Yeah,
it's a feast or famine for him.
He's a bomb touchdown or die.
Exactly, and I don't see...
The emergence of Khalil Shakir is also like...
It has messed him up.
Yeah.
Kincaid has stepped over in a big way to the passing game.
Dawson Knox is back too, I think.
No, he's still IR, but he hasn't been officially activated. His window hasn't been opened yet, from last I saw. So, I just don't think he's going to get a lot of targets.
Eagles versus Cowboys. It's a good old-fashioned showdown here on Sunday Night Football. 9.
That accent makes me so uncomfortable.
Good. I took the Eagles last week.
Yes.
I had it written on my phone to take the Niners, and I flipped because I was like, I have to take the Eagles underdogs. They're not going to be underdogs many times. You got to hit it when they're underdogs.
Are you going to do it now?
They're underdogs again.
Yes, they are.
And I'm doing it again. I'm ready to get hurt again. Give me the Eagles plus 3.5.
That's so gross. Cowboys this season have put up 30 points, at least 30 points, in every win that they've had this year.
Dak for MVP?
It's an argument now, considering that they've moved more and more to the pass game. Personally, I'm taking Hurts with a rushing touchdown. He has 12 on the season. He's 3rd or 4th overall in the league in rushing touchdowns. This just seems like a game where he needs to get in.
We might have to add that to the parlay later.
I like
that's a great bet.
That's so good. It's filthy.
Packers versus Giants. You were talking about it. I don't really want to gas up this team, so I'm just going to take the Packers minus 6.5, look away, and just be like, oh, there's Jordan Love. Luckily, there's another Monday Night Football game I can watch.
No, I'm going to ride with you on that. It's just Love over the last 3 games, 8 touchdowns, no picks, 70% completion rate. His weapons have stepped up.
He's good. All right, we get it. He's good.
But it's more DeVito has been sacked 26 times over the last 4 games.
DeVito.
Like, it's just bad.
He's so fun, though. Like,
and then
what if that's their franchise? What if DeVito's the guy? No one's ever really talking about that.
Because I don't think it's even a question.
Yeah, you're right. He is the guy.
You hurt me inside sometimes. Titans-Dolphins.
Titans-Dolphins. I didn't want to bet the line here. The Titans are my most, like, I don't know what you're going to do this week team. I know what the Dolphins are going to do every week.
Yeah.
They're going to score.
They are.
I know what the Titans can do every week. They can score even without a Derrick Henry.
Yeah, they can.
He might play. We don't know yet. Shoulder injury, concussions.
No, he got a full practice in. Apparently, shoulder was the initial call on the field. It wasn't a shoulder. They said it was a concussion.
Yeah.
Vrabel comes out and said he's not concussed. He was never in the concussion protocol.
I don't do this often.
I guess got the wind knocked out of him.
I don't do this often. I'm giving you a mortal lock.
Okay.
I'm giving you a 100% guarantee Dio Reynoso hits this bet. It's the over 46.5.
Yeah.
Dolphins, Titans over 46.5. Book it.
No,
it has to hit. It has to hit.
No, it does. Like Tennessee, bad against the air. Personally, I'm taking Tyreek Hill. He's going to clear the 100-yard mark in this game. I'd even bet it up to 110.
I love it.
That he goes over in yards.
I love it.
Like that's just death taxes and Tyreek Hill scores.
Yep. Let's move on to the next segment. It is time for our tournament arc.
Yes.
There's an NBA tournament happening. And sure, we could sit here and talk about basketball, but it's December. No one really cares about basketball.
This in-season tournament has been pretty good, though.
It's been really fun. Maybe we'll talk about it next week.
No, we'll recap it.
Yeah. I do want to talk about... We built a tournament.
Yes.
We wanted to talk about the best franchises in sports video games. Mm-hmm. Me and Don laid down the 8 best we feel. We're going to talk about it. Me and Don are going to debate it. Let's go through it, Don. We're going to have tiebreakers, by the way. You get one, I get one. So if we're tied, you get the first one, I get the second one.
Okay. Fair enough. Enough. Right. This is only an 8-team tournament. We'll have the graphic showing probably. But yeah, it's an 18 tournament.
Also be posted on Twitter. So.
Yes. Weigh in, but I know we have not covered every sports franchise. There's obvious ones that are partial to us, but we're trying to choose the biggest sales-wise.
Also, leaves room for a sequel. So
that's true.
Let's start with the first matchup. No, I don't have the matchup.
So round 1 is going to be Madden versus Forza.
Okay, so all of Madden versus all of Forza.
Yes. Yeah, we're doing game titles, not specific years.
Madden's my favorite sports game of all time. I buy the early version.
Yes, I think we both do.
Create the franchise player. I go make a quarterback. I come up with plot lines in my head about this quarterback, what school he went to, what his stats were. I buy in. I create a head coach. I do face recognition, face scans. I spend a lot of time playing on Madden. I have played Forza this year so much.
Forza's an incredible game.
I'm late to the game. I'm so late. This game,
which hurts me inside because you've seen me do racing simulators for
on your phone.
At least the last. Well, no, not even just the. I play the mobile ones first. But I had like a full rig setup.
Yeah.
For years.
You're like, you love racing. For those who don't know, Don grew up racing. This is, we randomized the entire bracket.
Yeah.
I could legit be the finals for me. What's your vote?
I'm leaning Forza because Madden, I feel, is resting on its laurels in the last few years.
That's where I'm sitting too.
That's the hard part. Is I love Madden. I love playing Madden. The idea of how many crazy glitches this game continues to have, the fact that it's just a reskin year after year, it's hard for me to buy into the storyline, the story mode. Like, it just doesn't feel.
I have to put so much personal work into even getting hope and love out of Madden, and I do. I get most of my video game enjoyment from this franchise. But Forza is such a more polished game.
I feel like you could plug and play Forza, and most people would enjoy it.
Here's the thing: I don't even think the Madden franchise is the best football franchise. And it's a franchise that's we're not covering today, but I think the NCAA franchise is the best football franchise.
The fact that they're still keeping the servers active and fans are still making the rosters year after year.
Next year we're getting a new one. So,
well, let's hope it's a real new one and not a reskin of Madden.
Don't
that's the fear in my mind. That's a genuine fear.
Let me dream. I'm going Forza.
Yeah, I'm leaning Forza there
as well. All right, Forza to the next round. Donnie, what's the next matchup?
Matchup 2 is Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Love it.
And NBA 2K.
All right. I have a similar feeling with NBA 2K that I do with Madden.
Yeah.
I build my player, and it is really in depth. But it's in depth in a way that doesn't allow me to be creative on my own. It tells me what the story is.
No, it's not as freedom. It's not as freedom based. I will say I've enjoyed the street mode that they've implemented over the last few years. The more online factor, where like you playing the My Park, where you're playing the game actually matters to how your character performs outside of their traditional story mode.
I think
that is nice.
I think at first it was. I think now it's become now people monster of what it used to be. Yes. Like now people are grinding out badges and like trying to get their players to be the best versions that they can be right off the rip, so that way they can dog stomp anyone that they play with. On the flip side, everyone remembers playing Tony Hawk. Everyone remembers going into their basement, loading up the PS2, and doing kickflips for hours.
Yes.
I played so much Tony Hawk, I don't even know how to ride a real skateboard. And that's something I can't say about basketball video games. Basketball video games kind of just make me want to go play basketball.
Yeah, that's the hard part about like Madden and basketball is like I play for about 30 minutes and then my immediate reaction is, dude, I just need to hit up people. Let's go to the park.
Yeah.
Like, Pro Skater is something I could sit and grind on. I feel like the more open world aspect, like, delivers more creativity.
It is kind of a sick joke that, like, you're playing basketball on a blacktop on the beach. And you're like, haha, this is so cool, when you could literally be doing that, like, a 15-minute drive from our house.
Yeah, the fact that we live in SoCal and it's doable, but even not just on the beach, is the fact that with Pro Skater, you're doing the idea of a game in my mind is you're buying into the idea of a fantasy.
Yeah.
And 2K doesn't deliver a fantasy that I cannot have in the sense of I could go play basketball. I'm not going to make the NBA.
Yeah, you're not going to dunk. Yeah, but like
we can go play.
I'm not doing triple axle kickflips in the air, you know? I'm not busting through glass to grab to grind on a burger shack. Those are all things that I was doing in Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I'm voting on Tony Hawk.
No, I think we're in sync there.
Look at us, buddy.
Just it's a more fulfilling game at the end.
I hear you. What's the next matchup?
Next matchup is going to be FIFA versus NBA Jam.
Okay. I didn't grow up playing FIFA. I don't really care about kickball as a sport.
God.
I think that I didn't grow up playing FIFA. My first like soccer video game was the World Cup South America.
Yes.
Back in 2010 for the Xbox 360. Shout out to Shakira. Absolute bangers on that soundtrack.
That's true.
That's what FIFA known for. They have the best soundtracks. I did play a few years ago. My buddy Robbie got me into it. I started building a franchise from the bottom.
Okay.
And I took them all the way to the Champions League, and we won a World Cup. Or we won the Champions League.
Yeah.
Didn't do it for me.
No?
Didn't do it for me.
I enjoy FIFA. I really do. I think it's the best out of the major franchise that yearly put out new games because it requires more skill.
I don't agree.
I think it does a little bit because it's more character control. The actual positions you're able to flip a little bit better.
They do put a lot of effort.
They do put a lot of effort.
Yeah,
but I just Jam was a more
NBA Jam's awesome.
Yes,
like going to a barcade and then you like look across the barcade and there's like an old school NBA Jam and you walk over there and you're like Penny and Shaq, let's run it, and you're like just dogging on people and you don't have to care about basketball to be good at NBA Jam.
Anyone can pick it up. You don't need to know strategy. You don't need to know the sport. It kind of made a universal game.
And when you get hot, the ball literally is on fire. NBA Jam.
NBA Jam. Okay.
What's the next matchup?
Next matchup, NFL Blitz, MLB The Show. This, I think, is the hardest out of our first round matchups.
NFL Blitz came back out on the Xbox 360 in 2012. Tim Tebow was on it. That was a big game for our friendship. Do you remember? Yeah.
Yeah, we played many hours.
MLB The Show is my favorite video game that comes out every year for sport. Madden, I do love Madden. In terms of, like, I'm not a huge baseball fan, but what they're able to do and the customizations of the stadium and, like, in-depth player personnel and, like, what you can do as a GM is just so much more in depth than any other game, and I'm the kind of guy that does that. I want to get lost in the franchise mode. That's what MLB The Show does for me. As much as I love NFL Blitz, I really do enjoy MLB The Show, and that's where I'm going.
I'm on the fence a little bit here because I think The Show is the second best baseball game out there for my personal taste. I'm a fan.
What?
I'm a fan of MLB Manager, the more simulation based.
Oh, yeah,
the more scenarios. That being said, I think The Show traditionally is the best out of the yearly major
video games.
Yeah, reskins.
I think it's a great game.
Blitz is great. I think that there's one better NFL game. If we're going to go back to old school gaming, and that's NFL Street.
So maybe tease that for another.
We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there.
The Street franchise, that's its own beast.
That is a great beast. I like Blitz. I think Blitz would beat out most of the other games, but I have to kind of agree with The Show. I'm not mad at it.
I love MLB The Show, and I can't even hit in that game. I mean, I'm constantly winning games like 1-0, or I'll lose games where I'm like do no hitters. Like, it's crazy.
That's what makes me buy in is the challenge aspect of it.
Fun.
Like it's you could sit there and, oh my goodness, it's 4 hours later because you just grind so hard for perfection.
I actually knew a guy who would he took the Angels, and every night he'd put his kids to bed, he'd go into the garage, and he'd play one game with the Angels, and he played every game for a season. And I was like, you're a madman. No one does that. And he's like, no, I do it. And that got me into the game.
Yeah.
I do it now with the Dodgers. I'll like create franchise. It's so much fun for the people that want to just get locked in.
Yeah, I think we're both in lockstep there again. I don't like that.
What's the next one?
The next one is going to be semifinals. Round 1 is going to be Forza versus Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh, this is
going to be filthy.
Oh my god. You talk. I have to figure this out in my head.
I'm leaning Forza here. I do like Pro Skater. I think this. I like the remastered Pro Skater. I enjoy it. Forza, I think year in year out is a cleaner, more polished game.
That's where I'm at. Where I'm like, Forza has continuously been good. Meanwhile, Tony Hawk, we can be honest, the franchise has fallen off a bit.
A little bit.
I'm gonna go Forza.
Yeah, I'm leaning there. Just
I don't
'cause
like that we're locked in. Step
I wasn't
by step.
huge on Pro Skater 3 as
Neither
much as
was
everyone else
I think
was.
it was 1 and 2, and then
One
3.
yeah,
And then, can I be honest? Skate might be a better franchise.
Skate was great. I like Tony Hawk Underground. I don't know,
I like Underground too.
but that's not a part of the Pro Skater.
Yeah, I mean,
overall
Tony,
brand.
Tony Hawk.
So
yeah.
no, I'm leaning Forza. I don't. Yeah.
Next one.
Next one is going to be NBA Jam MLB The Show.
Oh,
yeah.
What are we gonna do here? What are we gonna do here? NBA Jam, as fun as it is one note. There is one note, and it is fun. If I'm in a room with friends, and you tell me what video game should we play together, and you have to pick between MLB The Show and NBA Jam, 10 out of 10 times I'm playing NBA Jam. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. I'm never in a room with my friends anymore playing video games like that.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What do we do? What do we do here?
You know what? I had an idea.
Yeah.
You made that argument.
Yeah.
I'm going NBA Jam.
Dude, that's what I was thinking.
Because it's just... the show, okay, objectively speaking...
The show's a better game.
As a better game, it's a deeper run. You could sit there for hours and enjoy yourself.
But...
To me, where I've grown up with video games, and it is something that we've lost, I feel, a little bit. But... It's something I want to bring back. It's something I always enjoy. I always find I have a more rewarding gaming experience with other people involved.
I agree.
And it's even better when you play in person. I miss the split screen modes a lot of games have.
NBA Jam gets the boys going.
It does.
It gets the people going.
This is the game that I want to buy the gaming cabinet. Like I like the full on arcade style.
I would love it.
And it would be a great like because that is a game like if you had that for almost any other game, everyone's like, why would you buy that? Jam, everyone wants to play. It's a great game. I have to just take it on the social aspect of what I miss gaming is and what I want it to be.
Forza versus NBA Jam.
This is filthy.
I didn't think we'd get here. I thought it was going to be something completely
I thought you would take Madden. I thought you would take Blitz at some point. Like I thought.
Don. This bracket was randomized. I didn't expect these two juggernauts to meet.
That's the thing, and I don't like or not that I don't like, but one thing I want to point out is, had this list been randomized in a different way, I think some of the matchups would have favored out to other people, other games. But yeah, we okay. Forza and Jam.
Forza's a great game.
Forza's
amazing. Forza, as a racing novice, is so cool. I'm not even a car guy. I actually don't care about cars at all.
Yeah.
And it makes me buy into it. It makes me really feel like I'm in the car. I don't even like driving in GTA mode, but Forza makes me like really care about it. Mm-hmm. But have you ever seen someone hit a corner 3 in NBA Jam? It's so much. It's electric. Even like the cheat one, where like Ray Allen, like he always like Family Guy made a joke about it. Where he's
corner
like corner 3, yeah. NBA Jam.
This is tearing at me.
Okay,
because it's a decision of a great form of a game that I've enjoyed since I was a kid, like just the racing simulator style. Mm-hmm. Forza, in my mind, kind of. They didn't perfect it, but they've made the best.
They nailed it.
They've made the best like open market, anyone could grab and go version of that of those, versus something that I like my childhood, and then something that we still play a lot now. I think I'm leaning.
You're gonna say Forza?
I think I'm leaning Forza.
All right, so you know what this means, right?
Yeah.
We have to play rock, paper, scissors for the finale.
All right.
On 3.
On 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then you show or show on. So 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Or 1, 2.
1, 2, 3.
Got it. Okay.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
You win.
Forza.
You win the tournament. Congratulations, Forza. You beat NBA Jam. I bet you those guys who spend day in and day out working on making Forza the best game it can be every other year are really disappointed that they barely bet out a game that hasn't updated since 2016.
If anything, I think it's more of a compliment. It's like there are certain games that people just return to no matter what that are a classic.
It's amazing. All right, we are running a little longer, but we're going to give you guys a good pick six, our favorite six bets of the week.
Yes.
I'm going to start off with the Colts versus Bengals over at 42.5. The Colts score points. The Bengals have a very good defense, but the Bengals showed me something last week. They can score too. Give me the Colts 42.5 over.
First one, I'm taking Saints -5 versus the Panthers here. Saints are trying to make a playoff run, even though they've had a just awful season. They're one game behind the Falcons right now. Panthers lost their last seven road games in a row now. Have only hit the spread 3 out of their last 10. Saints win against NFC South teams. They know each other well. Their defense steps up.
The NFC South is sad.
If you're able to find the line, I would take the Saints rushing, the overall team rushing line, over 100 yards easily. Like even up to 120.
Taysom Hill's gonna get you a couple. You got
Kamara's gonna get some. Like it's gonna be. Yeah, they're gonna run down the Panthers' throat.
Jamal Williams is back. Yeah, I like it. Give me Sam Laporta TD.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
I like Sam Laporta. He's playing against a team that doesn't really cover the tight end that well.
Yep.
TD for Sam Laporta is plus 210. Let's go get it. Let's go get our TD, Sammy.
No, he's been doing well for me this season.
He's been doing really, really well.
I'm going Packers versus Giants under 37. We're revisiting that game for Monday night again. Packers defense, they get sacks. Like they are averaging over 3 a game in the last 3 win streak. With how often DeVito's getting hit, I just don't see how this team doesn't walk out with at least 5 sacks. Saquon's the only real weapon I'm worried about, but even with Waller supposed to come back, but I just think the Packers defense suffocates.
I like it. Give me the Vikings -3.
This is where you and I are disagreeing.
Give me your pick.
I'm taking the Raiders +3.
Okay. We're head to head
on this.
I'll give you my quick point. Vikings coming off a bye week. I know the Raiders are also. Vikings are going to get Justin Jefferson back this week.
Yes.
Justin Jefferson legit changes the aspect of the game. I think people are starting to get a little too down on Josh Dobbs. Don't forget who this guy is. The Vikings defense is actually really, really good. I like this Vikings team. I think they can actually even get into the playoffs. Give me the Vikings.
Yeah, with how weak the NFC is, that wouldn't surprise me. To me, it's just a matter of 2 teams going in different directions right now, though. Where the Vikings, you're Kevin Dobbs coming off his worst game of it, like this season, no matter what team he's played for. JJ back from injury. I'm always wary of guys the week they come back from injury. It's
been enough time now.
He's had plenty of time. He's had plenty of time, and I'm not trying to the hope is there, but it's just my personal. I'm always a little wary, always a little cautious. The offense has looked better for the Raiders since Aiden O'Connell stepped in. He is just hyper targeting Devontae Adams.
Who knew throwing to your best player would make your offense better?
It's the one thing I've seen with watching the Troy. I think it was Troy Aikman who pointed it out, and it was something that I went back and rewatched some film. The difference between him and Jimmy G when they target Devontae Adams. Mm-hmm. Jimmy G is trying to throw a pinpoint dart every time.
Yeah,
and he was not getting it there.
Yeah, because
defenders were covering it. They're blanketing. It's Devontae Adams. Makes sense.
NFL.
O'Connell just throws it in the vicinity and lets Devontae go and get it.
So Will Levis and Aiden O'Connell are we got to throw for our jobs this year. Yes. We might not get a shot in a year or two. And let's chuck it.
It's working well.
Sometimes.
To me, that's the big difference. And also the defense for the Raiders has stepped up. Since Josh McDaniels has been fired.
Yeah, Mason Crosby's
Mason Crosby's great. But since McDaniels was fired, the defense is averaging giving up 6 less points a game. The defense is taking away a touchdown without Josh McDaniels.
That's huge.
That's a big difference.
And I don't care. Vikings -3. Jets money line. Texans were the hottest thing in the world. I told you guys last week. Texans are about to start crashing.
Over 50% odds right now to make playoffs.
I don't care. Jets are going to win this game. Zach Wilson's going to get a little bit of spark going. I know we just poo-pooed on the Jets bust of the week. Go get that gold star. If you guys win this game, I promise to make you my gold star next week.
That's a big promise.
Yep.
My fourth one, we're taking Dolphins-Titans over 46.5, over 47.5.
You're with me.
Oh, I'm riding with you hard. I just didn't want to give that one away.
What a lock.
I like it. Titans are going to be able to run the ball. You have Jalen Phillips out, Jerome Baker out, and those are the two big run-stopping guys on the Dolphins' defense. Henry is going to be able to get 100 yards in my mind. There's no way the Dolphins will lose. Like, they're not as good as the Titans are going to be able to score.
Yeah.
Dolphins are going to just outrun them. They're just going to outpace them. They're too strong there. It's basically, do you believe that Tennessee could put up at least 10 to 14 points? I think they can. I know the Dolphins will cover 30.
I think they're going to score 14 for sure.
And the Dolphins are going to cover 30.
For sure.
Is with Achane back. Achane or Achane? Achane. Okay, I had it right then.
Yeah.
No, it's just they're going to drop 30. Do you think Tennessee could contribute?
Mostert scores like every week. It's ridiculous.
Number 2 running back in scoring.
I'm going to go to the NBA. I'm going to go to the tournament. I'm taking the Lakers. It's going to come out this day it drops, so Thursday.
Yeah, we drop Thursday morning.
Lakers -2.5 versus the Pelicans in the play-in tournament. I understand this feels like a great spot for the Lakers to lose. Mm-hmm. I love the Lakers. I'm a diehard Lakers fan. I do not see them losing to a team like this.
Do you think the change in uniforms the NBA is mandating affects this at all?
Yes, I'm a big uniform guy. I think that's huge.
Yeah, getting rid of the city jerseys.
They're not wearing their city jerseys?
The NBA came out and has ruled that the Lakers cannot wear their black city jerseys for this game because it looks too similar to the court floor, and so they're going to have to go back to the golds. Okay,
golds. That's fine. That's fine. If they were going to make us go to the purples or the whites, I would have been like, oh, flip it. Pelicans. Gold. That's championship winning jersey, baby.
Yeah, that's a rafter one.
Gold for a reason.
For my 5th, I'm taking Drake London, at least 4 catches. He covers this line in every Falcons home game. He's actually averaging at home 6.5 catches on the season. He sees a 24% target share, and over the last 6 weeks, the Bucs has given up the 5th most receiver catches in the league.
That defense is kind of falling apart.
It is a little bit. They've been
They play a lot though.
Yeah, they're on the field a lot, and they've just been. I think they're just exhausted.
So, my last pick is a pick I've been telling people to bet every time it comes out.
Okay.
I'm about 5 or 6 years. I've been betting this game.
Sure.
I've never hit it. It's Army versus Navy over. It's time.
What was it? 6 years in a row, it's never hit.
I think in like the past 23 years or 22 years, it's hit twice. The over. 28 is where it's at right now. If it goes up to 30, just bet the under. At 28, take it. My line is 29.5. If it goes to 29.5, bet the under. 28, we're taking the over.
Okay.
I need it. I've told people this for years. I have my friends' parents that send me one text a year, and they go, how'd that bet go? He's a veteran. He's a Navy guy. I always tell him I'm betting the over, and he laughs at me every year. And this year
will be different.
I'm going to text him back.
Do you
have any other bets?
Text.
Yeah.
My last one, I'm taking Tony Pollard under 16 carries in the Eagles game. He's been held to 15 carries or fewer in 9 of 12 games this season. He's not that workhorse back who's going to get you over 20 carries.
They have been giving him the rock a little more, though.
They have, but he just not up to 16.
Yeah,
that's the line for me. Eagles defense give up the highest pass rate this season. Dallas is also the 5th in pass rate for neutral game script. So that means if the game's tied or within 3, they pass the ball 63% of the time. Wow. In their last matchup against the Eagles, they threw it 67% of the time.
Wow.
This is feeding into those Dak MVP conversations there. Pollard's just not going to... Pollard will run through the air, but he's just not going to get the ball handed off to him often. He's going to look at screens, look at flat routes. That's how he's going to get his touches.
Pray for the parlay Pray for the parlay. Then, yeah.
Pray for the parlay section?
Pray for the parlay. Pray for the parlay. The pray for the parlay we have this week, we love. I know we haven't hit one in a minute, but it's time.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since our last.
Gus Edwards touchdown.
Yes.
A.J. Brown touchdown. Kyren Williams over 18.5 receiving yards. That's it. You put that together, you get a ticket of
plus 815 at the moment.
That was a Moneyball reference for anyone that cares about that movie. I'm going
No.
to point to you. You give me the number. 815?
815.
815.
Plus 815 there.
You take $20. Not even $20. You take $10. Say you're about to go to lunch and you're like, I want to make a lot of money. I want to make a lot of money for Monday. Sunday, you put $10 on this parlay. You walk away. You got lunch for the week.
That's not bad.
You can go get Chipotle at least twice.
Know what I hate is I'm throwing in Tyreek Hill's touchdown, like just for fun on this one too.
Yeah.
Just for like, cause it's you know he's gonna get one.
I might add Jalen. I might do a separate one with Jalen Hurts rushing parlay.
It's a good core foundation one if
I
you're
love
swinging.
I love it. All right, guys. So thank you so much for listening to a little extra longer podcast. We're hoping you guys enjoyed it a lot. Please go check out us on TikTok, on Twitter. We're going to be posting out the bracket.
Like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit us in the comments. Hit us on the DMs if you want to see something.
And remember,
Pray for the parlay.